Hey, this is Amanda from The Fundamental Home, and today I am doing my very first part of my Q&A for my 7,000 subscribers. I was very excited to discover that I had 7,000 subscribers, and I said, hey guys, I'm so happy. I want to do something special. I'm gonna do a Q&A because somebody said I should, and I was shocked at all the questions that I got. In fact, I wrote them down because I'm old-fashioned that way, and I actually had 2 pages worth of questions, and I don't think I can get them all in one video. I think I'm gonna have to divide this into a few different videos. So the first one I'm gonna do is today. It's gonna be all about me, and then I'm gonna do one about YouTube, and then I'm gonna do one about our home and our household and how that runs, and then I'm gonna do a final one on finance, answering your finance questions that you asked me. So if you would like to check out all the videos, I'm going to link, once they're all done, I'm going to link them in the description box. So if you want to check out all the videos at one time as I get them done, check the links below. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get started on telling you a little bit about me. And the first question is, what was it like growing up, and did you have any siblings? Well, I grew up in a small town in Maryland. It's a small town, but it's about 20 minutes south of DC, and that's, you know, with no traffic, which never happens. But anyway, so it's really a nice place to live, and I really enjoyed it growing up. We lived near lots of military bases, and there was lots of family and friends around, and that's really all I have to say. I have one sibling. Her name is Candace, and she is tall. She's 6'1" and slender, and I am neither of those things, and that's fine. But other than that, we have the exact same face, but because, you know, just to look at us immediately, we look so different. Most people didn't even realize we were siblings when we went to school together. Like, we went through high school and lots of people didn't even realize we were sisters. But, and she is by far the feistier of the two of us. I am the more gentle sister, but if she disagrees with that, she'll probably put it in the comments below, but then you'll know she's the feisty one. But she's also the fun one. But of course, I'm Amanda and she's Candace, so growing up we were Candy and Mandy. And she is not a Candy, and I am not really a Mandy, although sometimes Tangy and I talk about being Tangy and Mandy. The truth is, Tangy is Amanda, and I am Amanda, but she goes by Tangy, but I go by Amanda, so it works. But it just sounds cuter to say Tangy and Mandy, but I am not really a Mandy. No one calls me Mandy. It just doesn't happen. I'm an Amanda. Anyway, next question. My faith, my denomination. I'm a Christian. I don't get into the denomination game. I'm a Christian, Bible-believing Christian. That's about it. How long have I been a Christian? I became a Christian when I was a child. I remember being 8 years old and committing myself to the Lord. And I might give more details about that on another video, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this one. So I was about 8 years old, and of course I didn't grow up in a quote-unquote Christian home. I did not go to church with my family. I rode a church bus, and at the church I developed a relationship with the Lord. However, as I got older, my relationship with the Lord kind of grew apart. And so at some point during my teenage years, I really drifted very far away from the Lord and ruined my life in a lot of ways. And then just got to the point like the prodigal son where my life was completely broken, and I of course returned to the Lord, and of course he accepted me with open arms. So it's a beautiful story, perhaps one for later. But so at the point that I came back to the Lord, I think that my life really began to change. I was an adult by that point, and I think there are certain things that you understand better as an adult. And so by the time I really started pursuing the Lord as an adult, I was probably about 23, 24. And now I am 38. So it's been about 15 years that I've been faithfully pursuing the Lord and serving Him in whatever way, you know, He leads. So were we Christians when we were married? I had several questions about my husband. Were we Christians when we were married? How did I meet my husband? How long have we been married? And those were all kind of related. So let me just say this, that I met my husband when we were teenagers. We both worked at a grocery store, and I was his boss. And he likes to say that I still am. But I am not. If you knew us personally, you would know I am a sweet, gentle soul. And although I can lead, I'm a good leader, but in our household, my husband leads. And I am totally okay with that. In fact, I appreciate it because I am such a leader that I lead in every other aspect of my life, and I like to come home and not be the one in charge of everything. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. So anyway, so were we Christians when we met? Well, yes and no. I was a Christian, but I was not in a place where I was really following the Lord. In fact, that was at the point that I was just starting to come back to the Lord. Like, I had totally wrecked my life. I made a complete mess of it. And I really honestly think it was God's grace. You know, the Bible says it's the goodness of God that brings man to repentance. It's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. And I really think that the Lord had done a few things in my life to bring me to the place that I was ready to return to Him. And one of the things that He did was give me Rick. And by that time, I had already had Brian. And Rick took a broken woman and a child. And he was a teenager himself. He was only 18 years old, and I was 19. And Brian was an infant. So, yeah, I mean, that's where we were when we met. And so I was not following the Lord. He was straight up not a Christian. And the Lord took that broken, kind of pieced together, mended group of people that would eventually become a family, because we didn't get married for many years, and created something good out of it. So Brian's 19 now. It's been almost 20 years. And the Lord's really done a work there. So, how did I meet my husband? How long have we been married? We've been actually married, Brianna's 13, so we've been married 14 years. We got married the year before I had her. So, that's how long we've been married. How far did I go to or how far did I go in school? Did I go to college? Let's see. I started college a few years ago, kind of thinking ahead, kind of thinking that, okay, I'm going to be done with homeschooling here in a little while. What am I going to do after that? Maybe I should go to college. I have the time. Why not do that? Before that, I just had a high school diploma. I had done some classes in the past, and I had started towards a degree in engineering, but I didn't finish that. So at this point, I decided that I was going to go in something in education, because I thought I've been doing education for so many years. I should continue to pursue education. And the degree program that I found that was affordable, that was nearby, was in early childhood education, which I actually really enjoyed that program, because I feel like early childhood education has a lot of principles in it that are similar to homeschooling. But when you get into elementary education and secondary education, it changes, because early childhood education, and this is just one little thing I'm going to add, focuses a lot on play as learning, and not so much on having a child sit and learn. And I think that's so much more effective, and I really appreciated the time that I spent learning about early childhood education. I've completely finished my degree. I had like 1 year left that I had to go, do a couple of semesters of studies, like do projects and go in classrooms and stuff like that. And I did not, I had to put that on pause, because I was just way too busy with homeschooling and making sure the kids were finished up. And I thought, I committed to this homeschooling thing. I'm going to finish this. And then if the Lord provides the opportunity, then I'll go ahead and finish my degree, if that's the direction He even takes me. But I've been at much peace with that. So I have not finished my bachelor's degree. I did finish an associate's degree, and I'm almost at the bachelor's degree level. But that's as far as college has gone. But what kind of work did I do before I stayed home? Well, this is kind of connected. Did I ever work outside the home? When homeschool is finished, would I? And if so, what would I do? And what did I do before? So, before, I did work outside the home. I never thought I would homeschool. I thought I would always work. I was raised in a regular household. I went to a public school, and all girls were encouraged to work, and it was something that was pushed. In fact, if you thought you were staying home, it was kind of looked down on. And we lived in the DC area, it's very ambitious. Here in the rural area, it's actually a little bit different. I think there's a different mindset, and I appreciate that. I like it a lot better here. But there, it's all ambition. Most people have big jobs and they have more than one job. And if you don't have that, then you're almost seen as lazy. But it's different. So I always did think that I would work, and I had a couple of jobs, little jobs, like I worked at that grocery store for a few years, and then I had gotten into running front end, and then I got into management at a Ross is what the store was. I'm trying to think of what kind of store that is, but you guys know what a Ross is. So I got in management at Ross, and then I ended up going to work for a store that was later purchased by Macy's. So it was a major department store that's now part of Macy's. It was part of Macy's when I left, but when I first started there, it was not part of Macy's. And I started out as part-time. I just did it at night, and I was staying home with the kids during the day. Well, then we decided that we needed extra money, and I was good at it, so they offered me higher positions, and eventually I ended up in I was a executive, but a very low-level executive. So I was an executive with a department store that is now part of Macy's. I loved that job. I really loved that job. I stayed there a long time. A long time for me, because it was the longest period that I worked. I worked there about 6 years in total. And I loved that job. I would go back to that job in a heartbeat. I can't do that job and do my family because it's just too much time. You know, you put a lot of energy into it, and I don't know, it just doesn't work. But I loved that job. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything else that I do, but I loved it. And I think you've heard me talk about doing laundry, I started, you know, part-time, and I was just folding clothes at Christmas. And I still to this day love folding clothes because it was just so soothing to just sit and fold stacks and stacks of clothes. So, and I like to organize, and it was a lot of organization, a lot of paperwork, just a lot of things that I really enjoyed, not to mention the fact that you were dealing with people all the time, and it's just a very great environment. I loved retail. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So would I do it again? Yes. but I don't know that I can because I'm a little bit different now, you know? I think I would do it and I would love it, but I want something a little different now. So it doesn't really suit me, but if I had to go back and work, I would totally do that. Okay, what's one thing that I wish I'd honed before attempting to homestead? Everything. Because we're not really attempting to homestead, we're just kind of starting slow, but I feel bad that we know so little. But I think growing up in the suburbs of a major city, I know nothing. I don't know how to put up a fence. I mean, we barely can keep our grass cut, you know what I mean? So actually starting a garden and taking care of animals, like we have cats, just keeping the cats up has been a challenge. So I mean, we are starting at the bottom, like below the bottom rung, like we're way down there. So I wish we'd learned everything. So next question is, how has the garden worked out? Not well, but I'm clearing it now, and we're trying to start planting some things that maybe will grow through the fall, and then we'll have some fall crops. So we keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I'll get it eventually. Do I craft, and what hobbies do I enjoy? Oh, first I should say favorite thing to plant. I plant everything and nothing has come up really yet. But I would love to get some flowers and herbs for sure. Those are definites. Do I craft? I am not super crafty. Like, I don't do scrapbooking. I'm just not that person. I do enjoy crocheting and I love to sew. Like, I love to sew. I just don't have time for that so much anymore. Where do I learn new skills? From friends and from YouTube. Like canning, I definitely got that from my friend Marcy. She's in our Frugal Family Food group and she comments a lot, so if you have not joined that, there's a link in the description box. But Marcy has taught me a lot about canning, and sewing I learned from another friend who is unfortunately not really into Facebook, so she's not on there. But she taught me so much. She taught me a ridiculous amount of stuff. But anything that I need to know now, I pretty much check YouTube, or I will ask a friend that knows how to do it. And what YouTube channels do I enjoy? Well, I guess my favorites are, but you know, and I'm not counting my friends, because you all know I got Farmer Mimo, I got Tangy the Caver's Wife, I got Just So Trish. Like, these are my girls. But other than them, I really enjoy Justin Rose, who I also consider them a friend. We've been to their house, they live near us, and Wrangler Star. I'm gonna consider them a friend too. Because I've met them. Like, we're besties. No, I don't know them, I have met them, but I do enjoy their channel. And you know, there are so many others. Pratt Family Homestead, like if they lived near us, I'm sure we would be best friends. Man, I can't think of any more. I really love Praxis 55712 because I tell you what, I can just sit and sew or crochet and watch Ray and Rascal all day long. So those are the channels that I enjoy. Why did we move to North Carolina? And well, first question was, where do you live, North Carolina? Why did we move here? Because people heard we were originally from Maryland. Now we live in North Carolina. Well, we moved here so my husband could go to Bible college. He came here, he went to Bible college, he graduated. He does ministry. He also works a regular job, but he does ministry. He's not like a pastor or anything. He preaches in our church, of course, and teaches like Sunday school and stuff. And he has been working on getting an addictions ministry built for a long time. And in addition to that, he's preached at other churches. So he just kind of does whatever he's called to do. We've worked in children's ministry. We've worked in jail ministry. We've worked in nursing home ministry. Like we've done the addictions ministry. We've done soul winning visitation. We've done like everything. So you know, we pretty much just do whatever we can. Will he start a church one day? I know that's going to be the next one. I don't know. That's the Lord's business. But for right now, we're very happy in the church that we're at, and we're faithfully serving there. So that's where what we're doing. And then I had some weird questions about me. First question was, well, this was like multiple questions about my hair. Like when I ask questions, I totally did not think people were going to ask me about my hair, because it's like this, who cares about my hair? But anyway, first person said, why do you keep your hair long? Is it a religious reason? Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, the hair. This is kind of related. Let me hold that question till I get to the skirts and dresses, because it's kind of related. Bangs. I have bangs because I'm not going to show you, but I actually have a mole right here. I know that's so gross. I don't want to talk to you about it, but I keep it covered with bangs because it just bugs me. And then, but it's worked, because one thing I've noticed is a lot of my friends, and friends, I'm not judging you. It's just something that happens, right? Like I'm getting wrinkles. My friends are getting wrinkles. My husband has wrinkles. We have them. It's just a fact of life. But some people have them on their forehead, and I don't really have any on my forehead, and I think it's because I've always had bangs. So, yay for bangs. How do I keep my hair thick and gorgeous? That's question number one. I don't really do anything special. I wash it, I dry it, the end. Like, I don't even condition it. It's just, I let it grow, and that's that. I don't dye it. I have dyed it in the past, like many, many years ago, but I haven't done it in a super long time. Probably 20 years. And it's just, this is my hair. Am I going to change my hair or dye it, like color it? Probably not. I was thinking about cutting it. I really was, because it was the beginning of summer and it's really getting long. I do need to trim it for sure. But I don't plan to majorly cut it or do any major changes. I'm definitely not going to dye it. I'm a natural kind of person. I love my little grays. I think they're so cute. Look at these things. They're so cute, right? Look. I'm going to have like the cutest gray hair. I love it. But I just love my grays. I do. So am I going to change it? No. Okay, so the other questions were about dresses and skirts. First, somebody asked me about, do I have a minimalist wardrobe, or am I really into clothes? I'm neither. I don't think that I'm super minimalist. Like, I don't just have 7 outfits and rotate them and then have, and I'm not really into clothes. Like, I don't have a closet full. My husband has way more clothes than I do in the closet. And he has way more clothes in the drawers, too. So I don't have a huge amount of clothes, but I think it's partially because I'm picky, and if you watch my videos, sometimes I'm embarrassed that I don't feel like I wear different things enough. But, so I'm not minimalist, but I'm not super into clothes. I'm neither. But let me get to the dresses and skirts and the hair for religious reasons. I could do an entirely separate video on why I wear dresses and skirts and why I have long hair, but let me give you the short version of it. The short version of it was, at the time that I really started to change my life and follow the Lord, I was very different. I had really short hair, like that short. So I had super short hair, and I wore pantsuits often. That was pretty much all I wore, because that was when I was working as an executive with the retail store. And I just got to the point that I really felt like the Lord was drawing me to be more feminine. Now, you can define that however you want. And I think the Lord sets certain things on individual people's hearts. But for me, in my life, I think the Lord was trying to do a work in my life, and He really wanted me to submit myself to Him. And this was an area of my life that He was trying to reach me in, because you have to understand that I was working like 80 hours a week, and I was a mom and I was a wife, but I wasn't really a mom and I wasn't really a wife. You know, and this might not be the case for you. Understand, this is not a judgment against others. I'm just telling you, for me, I was a wife and I was a mom, but I wasn't behaving as one. You know, I was out working, and I came home every night, but I really hadn't dedicated myself to that work. And the Lord began to really work on my heart that I needed to commit myself to that. And it took a little time, but it started with small things. It actually started with skirts, to be honest with you. The Lord really made me aware of how I was dressing, and I feel as though I was dressing in a very masculine way. I'm not saying anything about how anyone else dresses. I'm telling you that for me, what I was wearing was very masculine. And I felt that the Lord was putting on my heart, you understand this is all about me, not about everyone else, this is just me, that I needed to change that, because it was really just an outward reflection of an inward change. The change was really inward, but I needed to reflect it outwardly. And so I started to change the way I dressed and to be softer and be more feminine, and eventually it came to skirts. And at some point I really felt like I needed to make that change. And so I did. And at the time that I decided it, I owned 2 skirts. And that was all that I owned. And my husband came home to me tossing pants in a box to donate. And he said, "Don't you think you need to get more skirts if you're going to change the skirts?" And I said, "Yeah, I need to get more, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to wear these pants anyway, so they're gone." So I tossed them out. And I still had short hair at the time. I didn't tell anyone I was making that change to the skirts, because I don't think I was ready to talk about it. But others noticed. In fact, people at my workplace made a point to take me aside to tell me how judgmental I was for wearing dresses and skirts. And I was like, I didn't even say anything. You wouldn't have even known if you hadn't have asked. But they tried to impress upon me how it wasn't important. Well, I realized that it's not important to everyone. Clothes are clothes. They are literal rags. And you know, the Bible says your righteousness is filthy rags. So it wasn't a matter of being righteous. It was just something that I feel like the Lord had me change for me. It was helping me to change inside. But it was a help to me. You understand? So anyway, so I started wearing dresses and skirts. And at first my husband, he didn't really care what I wore. He didn't matter, you know, to him it didn't matter one way or the other. And we did have Brianna, and I changed her to that too, and he didn't care. He thought she was pretty in her dresses, and that was fine. She was a baby at the time. And then after we started changing to dresses and skirts, he started looking around and noticing women that only wore dresses and skirts. And he started noticing, in his opinion, this is not a judgment on you, this is his opinion, that the ladies that he saw who wore dresses and skirts were very feminine. Were like ultra feminine. And he found that he really liked that and appreciated that. So he supported my decision, and I was glad that he did, because I didn't want him to be offended by it or bothered by it. So after that, I felt like I should grow my hair out. I had never had my hair long. Like, my hair had probably been long when I was a little child, but since I was in 5th grade, I cut my hair to here, And I really hadn't had it longer than maybe, I guess I'd had it here for a little while, but really mostly it stayed above my shoulders. And it was usually like chin length or above. It floated in this area. So I grew it out. And I don't even know what to say about that. That took more discipline than the skirts. For me, that was a big deal. Because I'd always had short hair, and I didn't really know how to do long hair. Like, I don't know how to put it up. I don't know how to really curl it. Like, I don't know how to do stuff with it. My sister had always had long hair, and she knew all this stuff, and she could make it cute and all that, and I just didn't know what to do with it. But growing it out was a discipline for me, and I've cut it since then. But now I don't ever cut it higher than my chin. And for me, it's just another one of those disciplines that is a reminder to me to be attentive to being feminine and to being submitted to the Lord. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm going to again say this is not a judgment on what anyone else does. I could care less how anyone else does, because again, I will say it is the least important thing that you can do in terms of your Christianity. Like, it is the least important thing. It means absolutely nothing in the long run. It is just something that's very personal between me and the Lord. And so I keep to that. I mean, I don't know what else to say to that. I just want to impress on people that I don't think I'm special, and I'm not judging you. I am simply making a decision that's right for me. Okay. And if you have any comments on that, before you leave them, please go, and I'm going to link right up here to my video called United We Stand, Divided We Fall, and it's about how we can have differences of opinion and not fuss. So check that out first and then leave your comment below. But anyway, I was asked my opinion on those things, and those are the reasons behind it. And that's, like I said, something very personal, but I'm sharing it with you because you've asked, and I think I want you to know me. I'm pretty much out there with my stuff, so there that is. So that's all the questions about me. I'm going to answer questions, like I said, about YouTube, about our home, probably in the other order. I'll probably do my home next, and then YouTube, and then finance. So anyway, I hope that makes me a little bit more I hope that helps you guys know me a little bit better. Go ahead and leave your comments below, but like I said, make sure that you've considered my feelings. Consider the fact that I'm not judging anyone else. I'm just telling you my stuff before you leave the comment. And I'd love to hear from you. Say something encouraging. That's what I want to hear. So anyway, that's it. I will hopefully get this all uploaded tonight, and I will have a new one for you tomorrow. And I hope you guys enjoy having this little Q&A. Thanks again for 7,000 subscribers. I will talk to you again soon. Bye! And she is not a Candy, and I am not really a Mandy, although sometimes Tangi and I talk about being Tangi and Mandy. The truth is, Tangi is Amanda, and I am Amanda. But she goes by Tangi, but I go by Amanda, so it works. But it just sounds cuter to say Tangi and Mandy. But I am not really a Mandy. No one calls me Mandy. It just doesn't happen. I'm an Amanda. Anyway, next question. My faith, my denomination. I'm a Christian. I don't get into the denomination game. I'm a Christian, Bible-believing Christian. That's about it. How long have I been a Christian? I became a Christian when I was a child. I remember being 8 years old and committing myself to the Lord. And I might give more details about that on another video, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this one. So I was about 8 years old, and of course I didn't grow up in a quote-unquote Christian home. I did not go to church with my family. I rode a church bus, and at the church I developed a relationship with the Lord. However, as I got older, my relationship with the Lord kind of grew apart. And so at some point during my teenage years, I really drifted very far away from the Lord and ruined my life in a lot of ways. And then just got to the point, like the prodigal son, where my life was completely broken, and I, of course, returned to the Lord. And then I'm gonna do one about YouTube. and then I'm gonna do one about our home and our household and how that runs, and then I'm gonna do a final one on finance, answering your finance questions that you asked me. So if you would like to check out all the videos, I'm going to link, once they're all done, I'm going to link them in the description box. So if you want to check out all the videos at one time as I get them done, check the links below. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get started on telling you a little bit about me. And the first question is, what was it like growing up, and did you have any siblings? Well, I grew up in a small town in Maryland. It's a small town, but it's about 20 minutes south of DC, and that's, you know, with no traffic, which never happens. But anyway, so it's really a nice place to live, and I really enjoyed it growing up. We lived near lots of military bases, and there was lots of family and friends around, and that's really all I have to say. I have one sibling. Her name is Candace, and she is tall. She's 6'1" and slender, and I am neither of those things, and that's fine. But other than that, we have the exact same face, but because, you know, just to look at us immediately, we look so different. Most people didn't even realize we were siblings when we went to school together. Like, we went through high school and lots of people didn't even realize we were sisters. But, and she is by far the feistier of the two of us. I am the more gentle sister, but if she disagrees with that, she'll probably put it in the comments below, but then you'll know she's the feisty one. But she's also the fun one. But of course, I'm Amanda and she's Candace, so growing up we were Candy and Mandy. Hey, this is Amanda from The Fundamental Home, and today I am doing my very first part of my Q&A for my 7,000 subscribers. I was very, very excited to discover that I had 7,000 subscribers, and I said, hey guys, I'm so happy, I want to do something special. I'm gonna do a Q&A because somebody said I should, and I was shocked at all the questions that I got. In fact, I wrote them down because I'm old-fashioned that way, and I actually had 2 pages worth of questions, and I don't think I could get them all in one video. I think I'm gonna have to divide this into a few different videos. So the first one I'm gonna do is today, it's gonna be all about me.